What's up, everyone? My name is Mark. I'm a filmmaker, or so I claim to be. This summer, I shot a film on 16mm film. Hold your applause. I shot a film on a Bolex H-16 modded for Super 16. And today, I want to share with you exactly how I did it and show you that shooting 16mm film is actually not as crazy as people make it out to be. Please watch the whole f***ing thing. What's going on? Digital has kind of overtaken film in the modern era as the more popular medium. Or one of the comments about using film is that it's too difficult and it's too expensive. That's one of the criticisms it gets. So this winter, during the COVID pandemic, I came up with this nice little idea for a film. And after thinking long and hard about it, I decided the best medium for the job was 16mm film. So I decided I'm going to go through this process. I'm going to film all the behind the scenes. I'm going to document every step of the way and be the guinea pig for you fine people so that we can once and for all decide and see, is 16mm that much more of a hassle? Is it too expensive? We're going to find out all those things. I'm shooting this on 16mm right now. No, I'm just kidding. That would be a huge waste of money. So I want to share with you the production process on the short Love in the Park. I decided from the beginning I was going to storyboard my film. I don't like to usually do this, but I decided since film is expensive and since we don't have hours and hours of digital, I wanted to really be prepared and know exactly what I was doing on set. This was going to be a very specific, planned out shoot. So we would show up, get ready for a shot, rehearse it with the actors. Then we would pull out a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. And the cool thing about the Blackmagic Pocket 4K is fully customizable, so I could set up exact settings to what the Bolex H-16 was. And we looked at the scene, adjusted the settings a little, tweaked it so we got proper exposure, proper focus, blah, 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 blah. Then we did a couple takes with the Blackmagic. Once we were good with that, then we put the Blackmagic Pocket 4K away. Then we brought out the Bolex H-16. We used the Blackmagic to figure out what the exact exposure settings should be, where the ND filter should be, so that when we pulled out the Bolex, we tweaked everything that needed to be tweaked based on the Blackmagic 4K. So once we pulled out the Bolex, there are a couple quirks and things that you have to keep in mind when shooting 16mm film. If we grew up in the digital age like me, we've had all these high-def monitors and LCD screens with great focus assist. But one of the things about shooting 16mm film is there's no way to tell focus. When you pull up something like a Bolex, it is a tiny viewfinder. You can barely make out the image. I would not trust it for focus. So what do? You have to go back to the old-fashioned way and measure out focus. We would pull the Bolex out, we would match the exposure settings of the Blackmagic, then we would measure out focus, and then nail focus, and then wind it up so we knew it was ready to go, and then press that little button and magic happened. So how do you measure out focus? Well, you measure out focus, first of all, you hire a lovely production assistant, because you will be scratching your head if you don't. Then you purchase a tape measure and you bring those to set. So what you do, on the side of the camera, there's like a little circle with a line through it. That's the focal plane of the camera. You should be measuring from that distance. That's where focus hits the film or the sensor. You'll see it on digital cameras too. You take the tape measure and you measure it out, and it should say something like 2 feet. Okay, and if it says 2 feet, then you look at the side of your lens and there should be markers for feet, and you move it to 2 feet. Bam, in focus, great. You have to do this on every single shot if you're going to use the Bolex, unfortunately. There's been some stuff on the internet about people rigging out some wild monitor setups, but we're on the no budget train on this show. And then we rolled, and then we cut, and then we sat there with our fingers crossed that everything worked out fine. And that was kind of our process. Rehearse, bring the black magic out, and then in that way we could kind of play with the scene a little bit, get all the settings right. Then bring the Bolex out, match all the settings, measure out focus, crank it up, hit record, and then move on to the next scene, repeat the process. See, this is why I ended up storyboarding, because it made the whole process that much more fluid. Because we rehearsed and we did several takes with the Blackmagic 4K, the scene was already perfectly tight, so that when we rolled, we only needed to do one take with the actual Bolex. Therefore, we saved a ton of time and money with the actual film. So really, on every single shot of the film, we only did one take, which is pretty cool. I do quickly want to touch on audio. We did not record any audio on this production. You can't record audio with the Bolex due to various reasons. There was only a couple lines, so then I had the actors come back in, dub over their audio, and then I went out and just recorded natural sounds with an audio recorder. Leafs. Okay, now I want to talk about the specific film that I used. I use this service called pro8mm.com, which I'm going to be reviewing in a future episode. Basically how that works is I purchased a package where I bought 2 100-foot rolls of 50D 16mm film, and in that package they send the film to me, I shoot it, I use it, then I ship it back to them with a hard drive, and then they scan and develop it, then ship the hard drive back to me, and voila. So for me, that cost about $250. The rental of the Bolex H-16 cost about $100. So all in all, this little short cost about $300. Now you're sitting there thinking like, wow, that's kind of expensive, but the way I look at it, I looked up rentals for other things like a Blackmagic. If you rent a kit, I would have to get that rigged out. I'd have to think of battery solutions. I'd have to get storage solutions, all that. You're still going to be spending in the $150 to $200 range to bring that production to life. The age-old question of like film versus digital, is it too expensive? I don't think so. I think this is a misguided debate. You're going to have hurdles on your production, no matter what. If you choose film, it's not that you're adding hurdles and annoyances and expenses. You're just pursuing and opening the door to different hurdles. You're still going to have problems to overcome. So it's not necessarily about film is more annoying, it's just different. I really liken it to digital is watercolor, film is acrylic. There's different tools. It's not one versus the other. Shooting 16mm has made me excited about filmmaking in a way that nothing ever has before. There's a magical quality to it that is kind of undescribable in words, and once you start watching and working with it, you start to understand what the hype is all about.